Welcome back to Coach's Corner, and we have Ponca City Wildcat football head coach Josh Allen with us. The Wildcats traveled to Sand Springs. It was a game that ended in a loss for the Wildcats, but when you look at the final score on that scoreboard, 56-35, it really doesn't tell the entire story because the Wildcats played and the game was much closer than it appeared at the end of that game when you look at the final score. And you got to be proud of your Wildcats in this game because a couple of key moments, and this is a much closer final score. Tell us why this score isn't necessarily representative of the effort your team put out.
Our guys played well right off the right on the opening drive. We made them. They got the ball right off the opening hat. We made them punt. Stopped them, made them punt. We get the ball and start drive, and next thing you know, I think we had got a first down. We had driven, and we throw a pass. We catch it. Trevor Howie, who had a great game, had a lot of catches it, gets tackled, and as he's going down, it looks, to us, it looks like we see the ball kind of pop out, but it was a late, kind of one where we thought he was down, and then the ball popped out. Turn on, no whistle was blown, so the ball gets picked up, ran down the sideline for a score. So that's how they score the first one. We come down the next series, and we get the ball back and go down and score. So eventually come on back. Now we had actually in the opening kickoff, I got a turnover deep in their territory, but ended up having to do a field goal, and we missed a field goal. So the next series, that's when we happen. We throw the turnover, they get it, but we respond right back and tie and go down the field and score, tie the game up 7-7.
Yeah.
Defense holds them again, punts them, and then the next series we fumble the ball, and they pick it up.
Yeah.
And go score again. So that's how. It is literally
back and forth,
14-7 at that point.
Right.
With them. I think they go down and finally score their first offensive touchdown. Our defense played well, and it's up to 21-7, and eventually, I can't remember. I think we might have gone back and scored. Yeah, I think we scored. We come back and score again.
Right.
Drive down the field. It's 21-14, and sure enough, I think they score again though. And I think going into half, it was 28-14.
Right.
And something like that.
Bryce McDougall, talk about him if you will. Big game for him, really. You look at his numbers. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I know you probably have it committed to memory, but over 400 yards.
Well,
total offense.
Total offense.
Right.
I think we had we had close to 450 yards of total offense. Bryce McDougall was 26 for 42.
Whoa.
For 360 yards. And four touchdowns.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So he had a heck of a game.
Yeah.
That's great completion when you're completing 26 passes, 26 for 42, for 360 and 4 touchdowns. He definitely had again another great game, and he even had a few drops there. That could have even been better.
Yeah.
In there, but just threw the ball well. Receivers, on the most part, caught the ball well. He spread the wealth around. 4 or 5 different receivers caught multiple footballs. 3 in particular had really good games. Trevor Howie had 2 50-plus yard touchdowns. Run. One was like a 70-yard touchdown run, and the other one I think was at least 50 or so yards. And or more. I think it might have been one was 70, one was 60-yard touchdown completion, and then you had several others. And then Daryl Arita caught a 20-yard touchdown pass, and then took another 30-yard screen to the end zone. So and then also caught a handful of other ones. Also got some handoffs, ran the ball well in the backfield too. So. Those two, along Bryce McDougall, along with Daryl and Trevor Howie, had good games, and then also Mitch and Easton had a handful of catches as well. So, it was a good overall performance by Bryce, and our receivers again came ready to go.
Right. Now, when you are talking about a game that ended with the opposing team scoring 56 points, you may not think that it was a very good defensive game, but you honestly, Coach, you can't try too hard without running into big time positives on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
You had some high points. You don't have to try too hard to find those positive points
Absolutely.
in the defense.
And also, I think I got this. I think it was 52-35, I believe. Was the final score. But there was a lot of positives there. They scored 2 off of 14. They picked up the fumble and ran it twice and got 14 points that way. So that had nothing to do with defense. I mean, that's just like handing them 14 points. One was a questionable call. And also one, we got a fumble from them, started to run. There was no whistle blown. And it was one where we were taken off to the house, had the ball. There was never a whistle blown. Or in fact, it was one of those the refs had to huddle and stop, and that should have gone our way.
I see.
Also, there was one that we thought there was I think there was a push in the back.
Right.
And they caught one down deep in there. So overall, but they did, they made a few big plays in the second half. Some on third down and long. It was a third down and 15. They called a draw, and we overran it. And the guy got the first down. I got a big old long run up the sideline. And then one was a throwback screen to their tight end on a third down and long. So we a couple big plays by them. They made a couple big pass plays and runs in the late first half and a little bit in the early second half that obviously we wish we had back. But overall, our defense stopped consistently their off tackle game, and even throwing the ball. We held their quarterback to under 200 yards passing, I thought in today's world that's not bad. So I thought our guys did a good enough job. We just cannot turn the ball over and give them and spot the home team that's pretty good. 14 points.
Right.
That usually doesn't good. So we dug ourselves a 14-point hole, and then that time we got to catch back up and compete.
Well, you take those two away. You take those two away. You give the other one to the Wildcats. All of a sudden, the Wildcats are on the winning end of this game.
Sure.
I mean, that's the difference.
Or release going down into the fourth quarter.
Right.
With it neck and neck, and let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
Listen, we were playing well enough in that ball game that if we didn't have those 14 points and turnovers, I like us competing down the stretch with a possible win. So
absolutely.
Every facet was good. Special teams, the special teams did an excellent job. There was not a problem with special teams there, except for we missed an early field goal. Otherwise, made all our extra points. I thought our kickoff and punt coverage was good, and I thought our kickoff return and stuff and punt return were good as well. So another good performance by our special teams. I mean, they didn't do anything to hurt us, and gave us decent field position. So hats off to them. And I want to give a hats off to our offensive line. Really, I don't give them enough praise, and they're a young, like I said, 4 new starters. They had they pass protected well and ran the ball well. We actually ran the ball. I think for 85 yards or so, and that was good for us to be able to do that in balance with our pass. So, it's always a team effort on that deal, and I just want to give those guys some credit because they work hard too.
Yeah.
But again, another great effort by Bryce and our wideouts, and then our defense again. The score cannot reflect that they were really we spotted them 14. Had nothing to do with it. So they were very competitive all game long. Several 3-and-outs or stop drives based on their efforts.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, just again, we can't give them 14 points at a home field. I mean that usually does not. And if you did stats, that usually does not turn out well. Yeah.
Right. Coach Josh Allen is the special guest here on Coach's Corner, and Coach, big. 3 games in a row, Solon Stadium. You're settling in and you're not wasting any time. Bixby, Sapulpa, Norman. Bixby comes into Ponca City, a 2-time state champion. And that is a task that your team is preparing for as we speak. And so tell us, how do you prepare for a team like Bixby?
Well, I mean, they're human like everybody else is. They just got a very healthy football program right now. I mean, they're just one of those quotes that championship teams don't do extraordinary things; they just do the ordinary things better than everybody else, and that's pretty much says it all right there. Is that they, everybody, they have a great strength and conditioning and lifting program, and the guys are bought in year round to that, and they got a good offense. Every facet, their offense is good on from running to passing, great balance. Defense is physical, very good for D-line, front seven. Linebackers play well. D-line's physical and big, solid secondary. And so, they just do things right, and they're going to put the pressure on us to execute. They're usually in a habit of that. That what makes them good is that they do execute all the time. They're used to it, doing what they're supposed to. We have the challenge that we can't. We got to match their speed and intensity, and play the way they play, or else that's where they'll get you at.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. 3 big home games coming up for the Wildcats. Certainly hope to see you at Solon Stadium supporting your Wildcats as they take on Bixby, 2-time state champion, Sapulpa, and then Norman. I know you probably don't like to look too far ahead, but Sapulpa and Norman, just a sentence or two about those two programs?
Well, they're programs that, unlike like us, that struggle in the win-loss column a little bit. Obviously, they're ones that we will, I think we'll match up well and have a chance for some wins there down that home stretch. We've done a good job last couple of years of winning. Like I said, we won 2 of our last 3, both 2 years in a row. So finish the season strong is what we'll be looking for, and kind of put some momentum into the off season. Those will be some games that we'll get up for. But we're still focused, and we'll get up for Bixby. Heck, we played Bixby well last year. It was down to this late in the second half. It was just a 14-point deficit. So. I thought we shot ourselves more in the foot a year ago versus them than basically what they were doing to us. And I thought our defense last year had a valiant effort against that offense of Bixby's last year. So, if we give the same great effort, match their intensity, then we'll be able to play with them.
All right, Coach Allen, thank you for being on Coach's Corner.
Thank you, Sean.
All right,
appreciate it.
Head coach Josh Allen with the Ponca City Wildcats, and again, Bixby coming to town, and we look for you at Solon Stadium to support the Cats, back the Cats, show your support, and let's get fired up for 3 big home games in a row. I'm Sean Anderson. You've been watching Coach's Corner. Thank you. Until next time.